This video, we will talk about Kotlin inheritance. We will see what is inheritance. So basically, what is inheritance? Inheritance is an important OOPS concept. It is the most important concept in object-oriented programming. So let's see what is basically inheritance. So as the name says, inheritance, we inherit from something. So normally in basic studies or basic science, what is inheritance? We as a human being inherit from our parents. Any animal or anything inherit from their parents. So this is basically inheritance. Like that only in object-oriented programming, a class or there is a class and another class inherits from it. So why we use inheritance is because it enables code reusability. So whenever you have to write much code and much less code if you use inheritance. So if you let's assume you have a code which is written in a class. Now you want to add your own functions and all, but you want some functions of the base class or whatever the class it is present there. Now what you will do, you will not write everything inside the class again and then add your own class, but you will inherit from the base class and you will use whatever you want from the base class. You can use whatever you want from the base class and you have your own functions or own features added into it. Now, so basically example, let's see an example here. So here as you can see, there is a person, okay? This person has a name designation, okay? He learns, so then there are three functions: learn, walk and eat. So as we know, every function, every human being can learn, walk and eat. Now this is a simple function. This is a class, base class, or whatever you can call a base class or parent class. There are many nomenclature used. So base class, child class, parent class, child class, base class, derived class, like that. So there is a person, okay? Now there are programmers, there are dancers, there are singers, there are many designations, okay? Now what a programmer will have a name designation, but maybe a programmer works in a company, so he will have a company name. So that is his own feature. Now programmer can also learn, walk and eat, but he can do coding also, as we do, okay? We can do coding. Now a dancer has a name designation as a person, but he has its own feature or she has his own feature as group name, whatever group name, any dance group, if he's in a dance group or whatever, or if he is in a dance company or whatever, he has something of its own, of his own. Then there is the same functions as learn, walk and eat as the person is. And then a dancer can dance, a programmer can't dance, so it is not his feature. A dancer can dance, it is his feature. So as you can see here, that the dancer can dance, it is their feature. Now there is singer. So as same as the person, they have the name designation learn, walk and eat, but their own property is a band name. They have a band name, and their own function is they can sing. Singing is a function. Playing guitar, playing whatever functions they have their own functions. So what is happening here? Everyone is a person. A programmer is a person, a dancer is a person, and a singer is a person. But they have some special traits or some special functions built into them. Now what are they? Programmer has coding, dancer has dancing, singer has singing and playing guitar. So this is the basic concept of inheritance. So we are inheriting. We are not creating another person. Program is not another type of person. He is also a person, but with some special traits or some special methods or functions. So this is the basic concept of inheritance. Now as you can see the code snippet, basically there is a base class or then derived class. So what every class is fine. Okay, there is every class is not open to inheritance. Okay, if you just create a class, it is not open to inheritance. You can't inherit from it. So to open it for inheritance, you use open keyword. Then you derive it. Now, as you can see, the base class, the class name is dog. Okay, dog has 4 legs. We took a variable as legs, and it has 4 legs. So the property is legs, and the value is 4. And the class is open. So to open the class, we use the keyword open before the keyword class. Now there is a function bark, because every dog can bark, we know. Then there is println woof. Okay, so the bark is a function. Now there is another class derived from the dog class. So as we know, husky or any type of dog, there is Labrador, many types of dogs, many breeds of dogs. So they are dogs, they are breeds of dogs, they have their own features, but they are dogs, they have 4 legs. So I created a class with husky that is deriving from the dog class. And how do it derive from the dog class? You just need to give a colon and then write the name of the class, which the base class which we want to derive. Now the base class is dog and the husky is derived class. As you can see, husky has also its own function that run. Now, so as you can see here, we used println legs. Okay, legs we are printing, but how? There is no leg property in the husky class, but there is in the dog class. So it is we can use the properties of the base class in the inherited class or the derived class. So here it is using inherited legs property. Then we'll print run. So this is our own feature, but we are using the inherited feature of the legs. Now the usage. So as you can see, we in the main method we'll use it. Now we will create an object of husky class, not the dog class. So if I use husky.bark, so we created an object and we can use it through the dot function as we learned in the previous video. So husky.bark. So it will call the bark function of the dog class, even though there is no bark function in the husky class, but it will call the dog function of the bark class. So it will inherit the base class function. So from this you can understand that the derived class inherits from the base class, and it can also call the run function. As seen here, husky can call the run function. Now let's open IntelliJ and see the code. So in here IntelliJ IDE, let's create a new class, new Kotlin class. Let's name it a phone. Okay, it is a phone class. Now as we know phone, when the phone was built, then it had only a calling feature. So let's have a function. Okay, let's have a function named function calling. Okay, then it will just print call. Okay, this is only this is the only thing it will do, calling function. Then it has camera, fun, camera. Then it will println click. So these two are the functions of the phone class. Now let's create another class. This, what we will do, we will create a smartphone class. Okay, so let's create another class named smartphone. So basically when the smartphone was created, then the call, so if you want to create a smartphone, okay, you have a phone, so you had a phone, so they did not again invent the feature for smartphone. They just used the calling feature which was in the phone and created our smartphones here with some extra features. Now what we want, a smartphone can also call and have camera function, but it has more than that. we have social media in it, we have some advanced things in it, we have maps in it, anything. So we have apps in it, we have Android, whatever. So these things are there in a smartphone, but not in a basic old phones. But they had the camera function, calling function, Bluetooth function, maybe. There are many functions. I did not take that, but we just wrote calling and camera. Now, the smartphone will not create another calling and camera function because that is already in the phone. Why do we need to create another calling and camera function? So what just we'll do, we will inherit. So can I inherit now? So if I use inherit the colon and then the phone, but I am not able to see because it is giving me an error because it is not open. So phone is not open. So let's make it open. Then now, as you can see, the class is now open to inheritance. Now we can inherit from it. So as you see here, we inherited from the phone class. Now we will have our own functions like WhatsApp. Okay, message. Let's message. Okay, whatever. So this is a function. This is our own function. Okay, WhatsApp. Or any other function. Let's take any other function. Maps. Then use maps. Whatever you can write. So this is our smartphone function, which is inherited from the phone function. So basically, smartphone function is inheriting from the phone function. Sorry, phone class. Smartphone class is inheriting from the phone class. Now, this is the smartphone class is the derived class. Phone is the base class or the parent class, whatever. So in the main method, what we will do is we can just you first create an object of what the inherited class or the derived class. So we will create a smartphone. So this is the creation. So we created an object. Now what we will do is use the objects. So use the classes. Use the class to get the functions. So use the object. Smartphone is the object dot. So when, as you can see here, that there are the two functions. These two functions in bold are its own functions, the smartphone functions. And the camera and calling is also showing in the IntelliJ ID because we inherited it from the phone class. So we can use the calling and camera too. So let's use the maps. Let's use every function we have. Maps, WhatsApp, camera, calling. Now let's run this program and see what will be the output. So here came the output, and as you can see here, the use maps, which we use the maps function, then the message when we use the WhatsApp function, click when we use the camera function, and call when we use the calling function. So as you can see here, we inherited all of the functions of phone class and the smartphone class by creating only the smartphone object. So this was main thing about inheritance. Now assume the phone class have a constructor and have some parameter. Okay, maybe company. Okay, anything. Company name. Okay, that will be a string. Now the phone class has a company name. Okay, then the smartphone class, when we inherit the smartphone class, because it has a company name, so the smartphone also should give him the phone class a company name because it is in the constructor, or else it will give an error as it is giving now. So what we will do here, we will have a constructor with a company name. Same thing. Now it has a company name, and then we will pass the company name to the phone class. Now it is okay. Now what it happens when we create an object of the smartphone class with the company name, then the phone class with the company, then it will also go into the phone class with the company name. So if I used an init block, or if I used init block here and just println or print, oh sorry, so let's print then company name. Then let's now go into our class, and when we create the smartphone, we will give a company name here. We can give Samsung. Okay, now let's just now run the program and see what the output here. So as you can see, the output came. As we know, the init block will be initialized when we create the object. So init block will be printed, or init block will be functioned whenever we create the object of the smartphone class. It's the first thing. So what will happens here, we are creating the Samsung class. Now the Samsung, this company name will go into the company name of the phone class. Then the phone class init block will be inherited first, and then whatever function we use, it will inherit. So this was all about inheritance. Now you can check, you can have a thing like if the smartphone has an init block and the phone has an init block, which will, if we create the smartphone, then which will be going on first? Will it print the init block of smartphone or the phone? This is your task to check. So this was all about this video of inheritance, and thank you for watching this video. Let's meet in the next one.